Hi guys, back again. Decided to do, if you watched my last video, you know that I did my Marvel Comics. I decided to do my DC today. So let's get right to it. And I apologize right now. I may not be as knowledgeable about these books as I should be. I haven't read a lot. I need to get back to reading more because I've read other books. Like I said, I just got done playing Ready Player One. My nose itches for some reason. I have no clue why. So I do apologize about that. And like my Marvel set, there's a few of these that I haven't read, and there's a few that I'm going to get the stories mixed up. So I do apologize right now. But again, let's get started. First one we're going to start with is a classic. Everyone that, who reads comics has probably read this. The movie was okay, but it is The Watchmen. Pretty much enough said. Watchmen was a pretty good book. It's about a hero universe with different morals, different standards, and what heroes will do to pretty much, save the world, and how far one should go. And that is tested. Again, it's really good. There is a story, a side story in here of another comic that's actually been read inside the comic about pirates and castaways and all that. It's an interesting story, but I keep it around just because, well, A, it was only $1 at a Goodwill, and B, it's kind of a classic you almost have to have in your collection. So again, Watchmen. So here's another one I found at Goodwill for real cheap. I honestly haven't read it. I don't know much about it. Maybe you can tell me if it's any good or not. But it is 100 Bullets, and it's First Shot, Last Call. So it's supposed to be a criminal masterpiece. It definitely looks like some old school pictures. But again, I don't know anything about it. It looked interesting, and I saw that it was made by DC and Vertigo. So here's hoping to it's actually pretty good. I'll let you know when I do. So here's one I have read, Justice League Dark. Now this was about the time that the Dark Justice League movie came out. And in this you have Constantine, you have Deadman, you have Enchantress, you have Swamp Thing's in here. You got I can't remember her name. I can't think of her name. Crap, she was the first character to ever be teamed up with Batman. So I don't remember. So I apologize. My bad. Maybe you can remind me, or maybe it's on the cover. Xanadu. I believe, yeah. No, that's Madame Xanadu. Yep, I apologize. Can't remember her name right now. It's probably gonna bug the crap out of me. So, really good book. I enjoyed it. Definitely some good storytelling. So, there's more to that series. I look forward to picking it up. Another one I picked up and have read, another classic, The Black Knight. It is a Green Lantern Black Knight, or Blackest Night. Really good book. It talks about the rise of the Black Lanterns, and just all the other different lanterns, red, blue, green, obviously coming together and defeating the Black Lanterns, and it brings in the entire DC universe. Really looking forward to it, and I thought it was rather kind of interesting who got rings from what different faction. So again, really like that one, Black Lantern, or Blackest Night. Another one I got is Constantine, Volume 3, Voice in the Fire, or The Voice in the Fire. So another really good one. Kind of gives you an insight to Constantine's mind and world. Does have Dr. Fate in here, um, and just a lot of other characters. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully you will too. Oops, don't know how, but Paige got a little crushed, so that's not a good thing. But another one I got on Amazon. Really enjoyed it. So then, of course, first of all, I will say I absolutely love New 52. I thought they did really well telling the stories. So when I saw this, the Swamp Thing, New 52, this is Volume 1, Race Them Bones. It talks about how this particular Swamp Thing comes about, and just talks about the death, destruction that he tries to avoid in this, and how he becomes the last kind of living knight for Swamp Thing, or for the Swamp Thing creatures, or the Green. So, just a really good story. Again, Swamp Thing, Volume 1. Then, go back, and I have Alan Moore Swamp Thing Book 1. I have to admit, I haven't read this one yet. I probably should. Definitely some old school going on. I heard the Alan Moore series was extremely good. I have had a chance to pick up the Alan Moore series. I know Book 2 and Book 3 have crossed my path, but at that time I was having a hard time reading this one, so I kind of passed them up. Eventually, as soon as I get this one done, I will be going and trying to get those two, and I think there's a fourth or a fifth. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But so far, although it has been a little harder, the older comics are harder for me to read because I don't have the patience for them, to be honest. I like the newer ones, mostly because of the newer art, but also there are a few words. And if they get too much in the technical side, which Swamp Thing does seem to do, I have a problem, reading them. So that was just a good one, but I was recommended this one, so I picked it up, and I'm going to continue to try to read it because I think it's going to do good. Again, I got another New 52, Aquaman. This one's the Volume 1, The Trench. Now, this book, I love the trench creatures. I love that the Aquaman and his girlfriend have tried to girlfriend tried to just get out of the aqua world, escape and just try to live a normal life, but unfortunately they can't. The trenches draw them back in, and it's a great story. Aquaman itself, I think he's a little bit of an underrated character, but probably one of my favorite things right here is this little line where he sits down, he just saved a bunch of people, he sits down and orders the fish and chips, and the waitress is like, you can't eat fish, aren't they all your friends? And he's like, I just came in for lunch, can I have my fish and chips? And then, of course, a reporter comes up and just asks him a bunch of stupid questions, and Aquaman ends up just going, I'm done with this, I'm so sick of it, I'm sick of not being taken seriously as a hero, I'm moving on. So, really good one. I know that there's a second one, Into the Trenches of Volume 2. Nose is really giving me a pain, but definitely looking forward to grabbing this one. So, most of these, I will admit, are Batman, because I am a huge Batman fan. I have a few more that are non-Batman. Nope, I think the rest are Batman. So, the first one is Batman Riddler, and then I also have Batman Two-Face. These just get into some of the old stories of Riddler and Two-Face. Haven't read them yet. Really kind of looking forward to these. Unfortunately, when I went to the store and I actually bought these, the lady chewed me out because she wanted to buy them, and she didn't know they even had them. So I keep doing that to her. I don't know why. I got that one at a kind of a glorified antique store for $2 each. So then I have this one, Batman New 52, and it is the Court of Owls. Now this is actually the book that came with the masks, and you know I use that mask. If you follow me on Instagram, I used that mask 2 years ago at the Wizard World here in Iowa. That was my first cosplay. So this one's a really good story. I've always liked the Court of Owls series because in truth the Court of Owls aren't bad guys. They're just trying to make the city better, but they are stepping on the little people and figuring only the rich deserve to live in this new world. Batman disagrees, they become at odds, and again they start fighting, and you find out that Bruce and the Waynes, both of his parents, they have something to do with the Court of Owls, and the Court of Owls sees, them as old members. So definitely a good book. Another bookmark. This one's a little less flattering. So yeah, definitely a good book. So Batman Dark Allegiance. That's my next book. I actually really like this one. I got this one for $1 at a antique store. This is pretty much set Batman into smack dab in the middle of the beginning. Actually, let me rephrase it. Puts him in the beginning of World War II. And this one is where Batman's actually fighting Nazis. And right there you can see Catwoman is involved. Definitely an interesting book. It has some weird theories, but it was very cool to see what happened if Bruce Wayne was in Gotham at the time or the start of World War II, and what he would do. Being he was a rich, influential person at that time, would he join the Nazis? Would he not? It's a really good book. I definitely would read it. I have read it. I thought it was really good. So hopefully you get a chance to read it too. So let me grab another stack here. I actually have more DC than anything. So I have Batman, The Gates of Gotham. Now this one actually tells a story about the Gotham Gates, which are actually a family who helped build Gotham bridges, and they kind of take a side that they own Gotham because they built the bridges, and they help them. Batman ends up having to remind them that the city doesn't belong to them, but to the families who live there and the people who live there. So it is really cool. It's definitely some really good artwork in there. Scott Snyder wrote this, so definitely a good one. I quite enjoyed that one. Although, unfortunately, I don't think I finished it. I'll have to do that. I thought I finished it. So, I have another one here. We have Batman and Catwoman 1 and 2, Trials of the Gun. Now, what is happening in this one, or these two, is that Batman and Catwoman are finding that there is a influx of weaponry that is making its way into, into Gotham, and it also kind of brings out why Batman doesn't use guns. There's some things that happen in this book that kind of questions that, and how they get rid of them. So definitely a good story. I thought it's quite enjoyable. As you can see, some of the artwork is rather good, and for the costume, it's one of Selena Kyle's better ones. So really enjoy that one. So definitely pick that one up. And another Batman one, Batman Hush Returns. Now this is the sequel to Batman Hush. This was really a good one. It talks a little more about Hush and who he is. It has a lot of the characters, including Green Arrow's in here, Torchbug, Joker. I don't want to say Torchbug. I forget who he is. Well, there's a lot in here, and definitely a good comic. I think Hush is one of the better stories that about Batman that was told. So definitely enjoyed this one. So Batman, the Cat and the Bat. Definitely an interesting story. It actually pits Batgirl and Catwoman together. It does have Batman in it, but mostly it's just like one giant fight between Catwoman and Batwoman, and or Batgirl. Yeah, not Batwoman, Batgirl. My bad. And it just shows the dynamic between the two, and then really kind of interesting. So quite do enjoy that one. So definitely a good one. And then I have Batman's Legend Dark Knight Halloween Special Edition. So I honestly haven't read this one. I thought it looked really good. I love the cover. That was just a very interesting cover. I am definitely looking forward to reading this, but I haven't, so I'll let you know when I do. But that's just one of them. Then I have one of two here. We've got Batman and Spawn. This one is called War Devil. I have two graphic novels that have Batman and Spawn. In fact, here's the other one. Pretty famous cover. I really like that. Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane. You can't get any better than those two. Their artwork, their storytelling. This is where you get it. Definitely two amazing things. This is the same thing. Although this one doesn't seem to be written by Todd McFarlane and Frank Miller. That's kind of disappointing, but still a really good book. So, really enjoyed those. Then I had one of my favorite stories, Batman Battle for the Cowl. Now, in this one, Batman has pretty much been hurt by Bane, broken his back, he can't walk, and this is when everyone in the Bat family decides to help, but not only that, but fight over who gets to become the next Batman. I know Red Hood is in here, Robin's in here. You've got Catwoman, Batwoman, Black Canary's in it, Huntress is in it, Catman's in it. Just a lot of good characters. Definitely worth it, as you can see. Sorry, the glare is really bad. But Nightwing's in it. Definitely a good story. Unfortunately, it has a little damage to the front. You won't really notice it until you actually hold it up to light and you can see the bumps in it. A little water damage. I got it for like $5 or $6. Really good story. And I think there's quite a few other stories that goes along with that. And then you have Batman Man-Bat. So Man-Bat is definitely an interesting character. The artwork is just amazing in this. So just a really good comic. Yeah, I wanted to see if there was a special artist. But a really good one. And I haven't read this particular one, but I know that I started reading it and I don't think I ever finished it. So I apologize, I do take that back. So, but definitely a good one. Now the next two are probably two of my favorites. and they're just amazing. That would be the first one, Kevin Smith, Batman Cacophony. Also done artwork done by Walter Flanagan. Now, if Kevin Smith and Walter Flanagan sound familiar, first of all, Kevin Smith should be well known. Walter Flanagan did the artwork, and as you can see, it's really good. The Joker there with a beard, and he is the owner of the comic book shop that Kevin Smith owns. You see him on Comic Book Men as the main, character. They got together and they made 2 books. This being the first, Cacophony, and they just went on a story of Batman in his first year, and this one, the villain being a man who just wants to make sure the Batman is worthy. So he goes in, he fights him, he gives him all this kind of trouble. Batman defeats him, and he goes home and says, "I did good. He's prepared. Let him go for it." Now, here's the sequel. It is The Winding Gear. Also written by Kevin Smith, also art done by Walter Flanagan. This book pretty much shows another bookmark. They come in all shapes and sizes, and I think this one's a JMD retail little advertising thing. They get stuck in the back. I kind of forget to take them out. I found 2 bookmarks. Yay! But this one talks about another superhero named Beafont. He's new in town. He tries to help Batman out. Batman ends up not trusting him at first, but the more that he helps him fight, the more he begins to trust him. And then there's a side story where Batman has met the girl of his dreams and has decided to marry and quit. Beafont seems to be doing a good job, and just some of the artwork. So he's doing a good job. We've also got Nightwing in there, and he's ready to release the cowl and quit, just to be with this woman. Well, in the end, Beafont actually turns out to be another evil villain, ends up shooting Batman's girlfriend, and she dies. At this point, Batman is enraged, and then the story ends. Unfortunately, these are the only 2 that these guys have made. This is the last one that they collaborated on. I know they wanted to make a 3rd one. They never did it. But if you get a chance to get one of these, I got them in both of them in hardcover. Both of them with the beautiful, slip jacket. I was so happy to get these. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a sequel to this one. So, you get a chance, do read them because they are amazing books. Kevin Smith definitely knows how to tell a story, but be prepared that the story isn't fully told. So, but it's worth reading for me. It was definitely worth reading. So, I'm down to my last 2. So, hang on. Batman Hush. This is actually the first one. And the cover you can see Superman, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman. And of course Batman right here. And I think, Killer Croc's also in this. I just happened to see that. If you know Hush, this is when, Batman meets a new villain named Hush. Turns out to be his childhood friend. I forget, it's Tommy something. Well, my brain's not working today. It is Tommy, but I forget his last name. What it is that, Tommy's childhood got really screwed up, and he ends up blaming Bruce Wayne for everything. Even though Thomas and Martha ended up taking him in, helping him out, they grew up together, Tommy ends up feeling that Bruce Wayne's family destroyed his families, ended up getting his parents killed. Fortunately, that puts Batman and Hush at odds, and this is the book that started the series. I showed you I have Hush Returns. I really liked him, and to see Poison Ivy actually manipulate Superman to the point where you see Batman and Superman fighting, that was really good. And of course, I like Poison Ivy. I like, Catwoman, Killer Croc. Really good story. Really enjoyed this one. So, got my last one, and it's a bit different. I would actually consider it to be a children's book. It is written in an old style, but this is the Batman, the Dark Stories of the Dark Knight, and it's written in the old styles, as you can see, and it just goes on. I think that's Joker. So this is probably for a little younger audience. I do have a few friends who come over who are huge Batman fans. They do have kids who enjoy Batman, so this one was just for the kids, but I really enjoy it. I think it's actually a pretty good read, and again, the younger viewers of this will actually be able to read it and enjoy it, and maybe a starter book for when we have a kid, whether it's a woman or a female or a male, or a boy or girl. So definitely looking forward to sharing this book with my kid whenever we decide to have one. Hopefully, maybe a year or so from now. So, but that's it. That is my DC collection. I have one more video to make. It is of my indie, and it's a really short one. So I probably could have tagged in on to my Marvel, but I didn't want to do that. So again, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this from me, GIF, go ahead and subscribe. And if there's something you want to see, or something you really want to know, especially about the backdrop, or myself personally, or my taste in comics, why I have that taste, let me know. Hit me up in the comments, and just thank you for watching. Hope you have a good day. Bye.